Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat, rated on Prom FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Gengema, that is in Imma County, Radio Kwatika de Bon County, and of course, Radio Wulogisi in Lofa County. We are streaming live on Prom FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prom FM Morovia 105.5. We are streaming live. Also, we are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat either on your Facebook or on your YouTube. And of course, you're going to go live. You're going to watch the show online. We want you to tonight share the show as usual. We want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow on what's happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. We have some interesting discussions, and of course, when my panelists come, we're going to start the ball rolling and making sure that we do justice to you tonight. Well, I'm sure you're quite aware that the Executive Mansion, through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, has submitted a 1.2 billion national budget. It's an ambitious, well, it may be, but very historical, very unprecedented. That has not happened in our country's history. For our national budget to go as far as 1.2 billion. Well, we'll be talking about what does it mean for our country? What does it mean for the financial and fiscal management of our country, Liberia, and those, in fact, who are responsible to manage the fiscal space for our country? What does it mean? My partners and I will be talking about that. Also, I'm sure you heard today that the asset recovery team has resurrected. In fact, the team has re-emerged, slamming indictments on several former government officials, one of which we understand is still in detention, but Thelma Sawyer, former wife of the former interim president. Well, we hope to talk about that. I got the video from the press conference held today by the head of the asset recovery team. And then also, you know that the president, His Excellency Joseph Human Boakai, and his delegation have returned to the country. They went to Paris, French, they went to France, rather. They went to Paris, France, and of course, they went to the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. But people are asking, did the president bring anything back? Did he return with any good news for the people of Liberia? Or was it just a bilateral meeting to strengthen ties with those countries without anything coming back? We'll talk about that as well. And of course, finally, if time permits, is there any cordiality in relationships between our past leaders and our current leader? Well, we got two former leaders in the country. Former President Lyndon Johnson Sirleaf, former President George Manneh Weah, and current President Joseph Human Boakai. Are they really, on speaking terms, are they really coordinating? Are they really cordial in their relationship? And if so or not, how is that impacting our country, Liberia, the progress of our country, Liberia? So that's the discussion. That's the shape of the program. Let me welcome George Kennedy quickly. George just arrived. Moses also is online, I understand. George, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Let me open your microphone quickly. George, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Soba, and good evening to the people of Liberia and to our many listeners, followers, and well wishers. We are back again. I want to also tell our technicians, thank you for always being there for us. And thank you also for this show.
Well, George, we can see thanking you for the level of commitment that you've brought to the table, the level of consistency, dedication that you always demonstrate when it comes to informing our people through this program. We want to thank you. Let's also welcome Moses Sandy. I hope Moses is on. Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Soba. Are you hearing me?
Yes, you are loud and clear, Moses.
Okay, thank you. It's good to be back. And George, it's also good to connect with you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you.
So our technical crew, I want to say thank you to them for all the good job they continue to do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say I enjoy your podcast. I follow it today. It was here that time. I think you were very objective.
Oh, this time around, he was not one
yeah, he was balanced. Yes, when someone does good, you should publicly tell the person thank you. The same way we will criticize you when you go wrong. So we should also come public to praise you when you do the right thing. So thank you so much, senior brother, Mr. Sandy. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, George. Thank you, but man, the truth will always be the truth. And you can't be contradicting yourself. You say them when you your time and you say, oh no. We change the rules of the game. No.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's welcome Mr. Edwin Fambul. Edwin, welcome to the program also.
Thank you, Mr. George, and to Brother Kennedy, good evening. To Brother Moses, I want to say good evening to you guys, to our listening public. I'm glad to always be here, so that in order for us to be able to inform our people as to the happening in our country, I think it's good for the Fall March of Liberia. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, we want to thank all of you. But first, let me, apart from the discussion today, the topics on review, executive mansion through the Ministry of Finance presented a 1.2 billion, very ambitious, but it's historical. Never happened before in our country's history. We'll be looking at that. What does it mean for those who are mending our fiscal space? We'll look at that. The issue of asset recovery, they read a merch again. Slamming indictments on several former government officials. I think one of which I want to send is in prison as we speak. Also, President Boaka watched his return this morning. I think about 6, 7. I think 5, 6. Because I tried watching it on the online. He has returned from Paris, France, from the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. What did he bring? It wasn't just the issue of bilateral and strengthening relationship. What did he bring? We'll be looking at that. Whether it's something that's immediate or something immediate. We'll talk about that. And also, I'm sure you quite aware, we got 2 former presidents, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and former President George Weah. And we'll have one current, who is Joseph Boaka. Is there any cordiality in relationship amongst the 3 of them? If yes, if no, how is that impacting our country, negatively or positively? We'll talk about that, gentlemen. So apart from those 4 discussions, let me ask first, George, has there been anything on your mind that have been trending that you want to talk about?
Yes, I was at the Freeport today, and I saw fleets of buses for NTA.
Okay.
I saw the first 7 yesterday. Some people criticized. They said, they said 35 now. When they're serving, they brought probably some of them. Some of us decided not to take food to put us out when the owners of the property can decide to put them outside. So today, the fleets of buses were released. And I saw people jubilating on the Ghana Road and other areas where the vehicles pass. I think that's a milestone in our public transport sector. I think we want to applaud the government, and we ask that, the government just recently, the president launched, I think, the railroad, something for commercial train and other things. We are gradually getting there is a good thing. So I thought it was a good news for us to share those buses. 35 of them are in the country.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think I want to also string along with you. I think it's something good that we need to celebrate. Let's hear from you, Edwin. Anything on your mind apart from the 4 major discussions that we have?
I think I will start from where Brother George, talked about. Yes, we've seen the buses. In fact, as we speak, they're now parked somewhere around the Congo Town belt.
Okay.
Both sides of the road, and that's commending. In order to be able to move our economy, you have to move people from one point to another.
Sure.
And the easier access to movement make it easier for people to be able to get out there and find for themselves or so. The next thing that I actually don't mind is the issue of the re-emergence of armed robbery.
Wow.
Because there was this lady, I listened to some horrifying story. In fact, it was on Prime FM News about a gang of guys who went into that compound 2 a.m. in the morning, held them as hostage, shooting, and then they took away her monies and stuff. So I think the police needs to intensify their patrol as we move towards the festive seasons.
Yeah, sure.
And one sad thing in this country, I know it's one thing that we have to talk about with the relationship between our leaders and so, but also there are other professionals who has built their professionalism over time in dealing with these kind of crises. Some of them are still around. The police can reach out to them. You can say all about former Deputy Director Ibi Kroma. He fought armed robbery here under the Saleh administration. He's still around. The police can tap into his expertise. This guy, Sam Sanyo, they're all here.
Yeah.
Let's forget about let's forget about all this partisan stuff. So bring the professionals on board to help us solve the problem. But this re-emergence of armed robbery is scary. It has the propensity of driving away investors and even foreigners that want to come to the country.
Okay. Moses, anything trending so that we can get into our major discussion?
Well, look, what makes the United States great is transportation, public transportation, road connectivity. So I would like to commend the government for the effort being made to ensure that our people are able to commute from one location to another with some level of ease.
Okay.
Now, having said that, I saw a publication today quoting former Representative David Cody. In our publication, Mr. Cody endorsed the candidacy of President Joseph Yuma Boakai for 2029.
But has he?
And honestly speaking, I think Mr. Cody, his endorsement of Mr. Boakai for the presidency in 2029 is selfish. I say it's selfish because let's look at Mr. Boakai. The president, by November 30th, he will be 81. He was born 1944. So come 2029, the president will be 85. So if the president is re-elected in 2029, by the time he completes 6 years, he will be what? 91. Okay. This is what research. Yeah, this is what research has shown.
You guys say your own. Let the man go ahead, please.
That is what research has shown. It's not Moses saying it. What studies have shown is that the older we become, our ability to function, our cognitive ability to think, to act physically, and all of that, our mental health, everything begin to decline on a gradual basis. By age 85, the presidency comes with a lot of work. It requires what? Multitasking. You cannot have an 85-year-old man managing the affairs of Liberia. The first thing, the man is going to be physically exhausted. He will begin to have a decline in memory. Coordinating and all of those things will begin to kick in. Look, take a walk in the neighborhood and see some of our older folks. Don't take it from me. Talk to your grandfather who is 87. That's why you hear people say once a man, twice a child. The older you become, your physical ability, your mental health ability, everything begin to decline. And I think Mr. Koti is not being honest. President Barker has laid the foundation. There are a lot of young people in the Unity Party that can be elected president. Even Vice President Kuhn, if given the opportunity, he can do well. But I don't think it is advisable for us to encourage Mr. Barker to run for the presidency at age 85. That would not be good for the country. That's what I want to talk about.
Thank you, Moses. George, do you have any counter, or you think
I mean,
you want to swing it on? You agree with him? You agree with him?
I don't, but we are not there to respond.
But if you don't agree with him, why can't you?
This is a campaign message. This is a campaign message. We're not in campaign mode. Because if you look around the world, we see older people leading
Dave, just hold the line. Please hold the line. Hold the line.
We see older countries leading their countries.
Hold the line.
Older people leading their countries very well. So he's a mental health person. So maybe he's speaking that capacity. But I can tell you for sure that if Mr. Boakai is strong enough at 85 to continue, well, he can continue. It's his constitutional right.
Okay.
And,
yes, Edwin, quickly, let me talk to David Koti.
In fact, studies have shown that when you age, the better you have wisdom to lead.
Okay.
So that's why when you go into the interior, most of the people that you see who are town chiefs and clan chiefs are older folks. Because guess what? They have this something called wisdom. You get it over time. So for me,
so you think it would be a perfect calculation if
well, Malawi just elected an 85-year-old president.
Okay.
Over a younger president who was there. This 85 years old was there before, and then he lost the election. A younger candidate came in. The country re-elected the 85 years old man. Okay. You look right at Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara. I think he's 82 years old now.
Okay. Let me talk to David Koti quickly, because David Koti is one whose name just came into the picture after he reportedly, let me put it, reportedly endorsed the candidacy of Joseph Joubert Boakai for 2029. Dave, did the newspaper misquote you, or they quoted you well?
They quoted me very well. And let me say good evening to you, Saba, and to your panelists, including Mr. Moses Sandy, Mr. Kennedy, and my good friend from the LEC.
Mr. Famule.
The lawyer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let me put it this way. The presidency is not about a marathon. It's not about running race. It is about stabbing. It's about stabbing. You could be a very young man and be a kleptomaniac. A kleptomaniac is somebody who has an irresistible tendency to steal a damn big roll. You could also be a very young man.
Are you making reference to someone?
Oh, yeah, they know themselves.
Who are you making reference to?
They know themselves.
No, call the name.
That's something I declare what to know.
Okay, go ahead. Since you are threatening to call the name, go ahead.
All right, thank you. That person did not bother me, so I'm not going to call him right now. At the appropriate time, he will hear from me.
Okay.
You could also be a very young man and be an egomaniac. An egomaniac is somebody who is extremely self-centered. I, me, and my pocket and my damn stomach. No, let me tell you something. When I promised to do 100 reasons for early re-election, people got to it. And it was just in a campaign period. And I did it. And I am saying here that Joe Boakai is going to run for a second term. All of these funny talks around that he's too old, he says that, like the lawyer just mentioned, even Mr. Kennedy, the older you are, the wiser you are. The point is, This is a man who has done something that is very unprecedented in this country. I am 72 years old, and I have been in Monrovia since 1958. I know this country very well. I saw Tubman, I saw Thomas, I saw Dole, I saw Charles. Everybody knows he was my good friend. Ellen, yes, good friend of mine. And I have never seen any development movement with this kind of a magnificent speed. Oh man, just in less than 2 years, the whole country is on fire in every sector. And let me tell you something, Mr. Sandy. Road connectivity alone would make this president a second-term president.
Okay.
Just for roads.
Okay.
And okay, I will stand by you. Anybody come again? I will come again.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Moses, I think you want to come back, or you want to reserve that.
Yeah, look, I just want to say something quickly. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not just talking because I want to talk. I told you guys, many of you know me. I'm a clinical social worker. I visit nursing homes. I talk to elderly people. I have an elderly man that lives with me at the house, and I engage with people. And all of you, if we speak honestly, you will agree a couple of things that come with old age. Have you heard about dementia? Dementia is when you become forgetful. It's a mental health problem. You can't remember things anymore. You begin to what? Decline. The agility, the ability to function, to multitask. You can do that when you are younger. The older you become, the likelihood of you performing to that level is extremely low. Do you know what it means to be president of the country? And you want to have a 90-year-old man managing the affair of a challenged society? Is this what you're talking about? And the argument the guys are making, the older you become, the more wisdom you have. That's not true. Wisdom doesn't come with age. There are a lot of people who are older, and yet their functioning level is at what? 15 or 20 years old. And there are a lot of young people who have a lot of wisdom. So let us not talk about wisdom.
Okay.
So are you saying that young people don't suffer from dementia? Is that why you're trying to market to me tonight?
No, I'm not saying that, Mr. Kennedy. I'm only saying that the older you become very vulnerable to developing what? Dementia.
Let's leave that topic for.
Okay, so Moses, thank you.
Yeah,
it was basically intended to just
start
the discussion rolling. So I think that the start of the discussion it's quite pleasing tonight. But gentlemen, let's try to go into our discussion quickly. We got the four major topics to talk about. While we were hearing about indictments and arrests and the re-emergence of the asset recovery team that went to bed for some time, while we're all hearing about that and hearing about some arrests and all of that. Just lately, this evening, just lately this evening, we heard about the submission. I was just distracted. We heard about the submission of the national budget in the tune of 1.2 billion. 1.2 billion. I think I want to ask first all of you, Sandy, Edwin, and George, my namesake. There are individuals who think that this is ambitious. Maybe the government may not be able to raise this because all the budget is projection. There are others who think that no, it is possible that the government can raise it. It's clear that this is very unprecedented. It hasn't happened in our history. But so let me get your take. What does it mean for our fiscal space and those men in the space? Let me begin with you, George.
This is the good news for our for our economy, for our fiscal space. The fact that I wanted to know, first of all, the revenue, this particular budget performance in terms of revenue generation as per the 850 million that were projected in the current budget.
Okay, gentlemen, I know we passed the discussion already, but it's good to do justice to people, so you don't think that you have the space, the airtime, and you don't want to avail our people to the airtime. Don't want to avail the airtime to our people. So let me hear from Noah Gibson. I think he's been trying to listen. He's been listening to the debate concerning President Boycott and his age.
Yeah.
So let's hear from Noah quickly, and then we'll get back to our discussion. Noah, welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
So, Saba, thank you, Saba. This is my debut on your show.
Yes, I know. It's a debut.
I've never spoken on your show before, but I think I'm carried away tonight to speak on this, and even I will monitor and also come by and contribute to the next topic or other topic. But
rest assured,
for the record, I just want to say to Moses Sunday, Moses, are you not aware? Levi Manawasa of Zambia, if we're looking at age as a factor, there's a difference being healthy and there's a difference being old. Young and not being healthy, and there's a difference being old and being healthy. Let me give you an example. Levi Manawasa of Zambia was 59. He died at age 59, August 19, 2008. Alhaji Musa Yaradua of Nigeria was 58 years old. He didn't complete a term. He died. Because, if we're looking at age, let's look at John Atame of Ghana. He was 68. He was not healthy. He died. We could go on naming more younger leaders. And besides that, look at the great United States of America. Are you saying America that is not free of human resources? That is the greatest nation in the world. So were they wrong to elect Donald Trump, who just turned 79 this year, almost the age of President Boycott, the same age group? And by the time Trump is stepping down, he will be around 83. Not far from the scene 85, you're talking about that Boycott will be going for re-election. Even though the only not saying he's going to go for re-election, but I don't think the issue is about age. We have a young leader that we just elected who could not even remember when Firestone was founded. He said Firestone came in Ladura in 1920. All right, that's a far young leader. But Boycott, you think that is depreciating in mental ability? He was able to tell you Firestone existed here since 1926. So how do you compromise this? I think the presidency is not about lifting 8-inch block or going to take assets, doing weightlifting. What we can say, President Boycott can be re-elected. He doesn't force to end the entire 6 years.
Okay.
But the way to beat the CDC very well is to bring President Boycott back, and we will make sure that he are not told us interested.
So you are saying that Noah, let me ask you a question before you go off the line. You are saying that in the absence of Omar Boycott, no one in the Unity Party can defeat George Weah, not even the vice president.
I can't be stupid to say that. That's not what I'm saying.
But you said Boycott is the only man who can defeat Weah.
No, I didn't say he's the only man. I said the way to beat CDC well. Meaning we can have somebody that will beat CDC, but it will not be as easy as Omar Boycott.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. The United Party will not vote on candidates. Our party is not built around individual. It's built around institution.
Okay.
Imagine Ellen was there. People say after Ellen, who your guy? Ellen going, we brought somebody that is giving.
Okay. All right, Noah. Before you go, all of the bosses in town now.
No, all of the bosses are not yet in town. We have 34 in town. The balance 26 more are on sea and will be here. At the time that the ship will talk.
Can you assure us that it will not be like the yellow machine?
I don't know what you mean. If it will not be like the yellow machine. The yellow machine.
That we've been expecting all the numbers up to now. It's yet to they are yet to come.
Just how you were expecting the bosses, they were yet to come on the game.
Okay, Noah, take good care. Take good care. Have a pleasant time.
So, Saba, let me.
Yeah. No, hold the
Yeah.
line. Hold the line. I think Moses wants to
Yeah.
respond.
Yeah. I just want to say something quickly to the Deputy Managing Director of the Transit Authority. I definitely understand where you're coming from. He diverged a very important information about the UP. He contradicted himself so much. He said, look, we need Boakai to win the presidency after a period of time, then we can give it to somebody. Then he turned around and said, oh no. Then he said, oh no, our UP doesn't center the right individual. Then what are you talking about? It seems that you're confused. And then when I spoke, I didn't talk about death. Where Mr. MD, I'm saying to you, I did not talk about death. I didn't say that the old man will die. I didn't say that young people cannot die. I simply said research studies have shown that the older we become, our ability to think and act effectively begin to decline. We begin to have physical disabilities as well. That is not debatable. The studies are there.
Moses, let's listen to him. Moses, I know you've made a point. Let's listen to it because we have to leave this.
Yeah, Moses, let me tell
We
you
have to transition quickly.
Moses study are also shown to when you are young, you can decline in several abilities. For example, today there are more young people who cannot read without glasses. President Boakai does not read with glasses. Have you seen President Boakai reading with glasses?
2 years old.
And study has shown also, listen, they found Osiris value. The old man just turned 97 the other day. He was narrating a story as far back as 1950s when he met President Tubman driving his own car in a Bushville island area, and President Tubman stopped for him. There's a 97-year-old man. So study has shown also that when you old, you can remember.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I didn't contradict myself. I didn't say that only President Boakai can beat George. I'm saying to beat him more easily, you need President Boakai. That does not mean we don't trust the people.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Noah. Thank you for making your input. Okay, so let's go back to our discussion.
So as I said,
yes,
the financial management team or economic management team of this particular government, I trust them. The truth is, had the current budget not performed, you will have seen lower projection because they projected to have raised around $850 million. So it simply means it's around 157 of $57 million or $70 million that they increased the budget by to carry to 1.2 billion. So had they not seen the current budget performing, they would not have increased our budget. Mayu, I want to see the budget to see the core revenue component, because my main focus can be on the core revenue component, the one that we can raise on our own, that we are sure of raising. Those are the places that my focus can be. Then we can now see what we call the contingency aspect, where we see some commitments and other things, money expecting for other places that we're not too sure of.
Okay, so let me just read this quickly. Let me read. President Boakai presents a fiscal year 2026 national budget to the legislature. President Joseph Yuma Boakai today submitted the draft national budget for fiscal year 2026 to the national legislature, amounting to US 1.2 or US 1,211,085,227 United States dollars. The budget was formally presented to the House of Speaker Rachel Cohn by Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustin Pehe-Gafuan on behalf of President Boakai. According to the drafted fiscal year 2026 budget, domestic revenue accounts for US 1.13 billion, 94%, while external resources represent US 72 million, 6%. Domestic revenue projections include tax revenues of US 726.97 million, non-tax revenue of US 83.92 million, metal sound on bonus of US 200 million, and contingent revenue of US 28 million. The proposed budget prioritizes investments which align with the arrest agenda. It allocates approximately US 280 million to projects under the Public Sector Investment Plan, the PSRP, a key pillar of the administration development framework focused on agriculture, roads, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism. In his budget message to the legislature, President Boakai commended lawmakers for the timely passage of the 2025 national budget, which facilitated a more effective and transparent implementation of government programs during the current fiscal year. The president urged the national legislature to ensure a timely and a transparent review and approval of the fiscal year 2026 draft budget, emphasizing the importance of maintaining legislative due diligence and accountability in the process. The submission of the draft national budget fulfills the requirement of Section 1.71 of the 2019 Amendment and Restatement of the Public Financial Management Act of 2009, which mandates that the proposed budget be submitted to the legislature within the statutory period.
So as I was saying, first I said 150 is around $350 million that the budget is increased by, because it was 850 million plus 150 is 1 billion plus 1.2 billion. So as I was saying, I'm happy that our core revenue is around 700 some more,
which is domestic.
Yeah, million. Domestic is around 1.something billion.
Okay.
That we expected to raise around 1.something billion. So which is very good for us. Very good. I'm very sure that even if there be a deficit, it will be far less. We'll raise more than 1 billion revenue in this particular budget year.
So what does it speak about if the managers of the financial space?
So it speaks about their hard work, their professionalism. It means that they were able to source, to discover new sources of domestic revenue. That right now, the opening of the roads, access the economic activities that are taking place in these counties. They are now open because the transport sector, now the public vehicles are moving, government tax collectors now moving up and down. These are some of the things that are cost. So when the country is closed, where you see people doing from here,
rules are unpliable.
Yeah, you will find out that most of the monies cannot come to government.
Okay, let me hear from you, Edwin. You did the economics. Let's hear.
Well, I
economics. Let's hear from you.
I listened to the finance minister, and you're very clear.
I'm coming, Moses.
I did listen.
Edwin.
I did listen to the Minister of Finance, and he said this budget is actually predicated on the performance of the previous budget, this current budget year. And what it speaks, it shows that indeed we have closed some of the leakage in our revenue system, because if you having leakages in the revenue stream, sometimes it lead to being able to meet those projections. But if you start to close those leakages, it means that now the monies are coming in.
Okay.
And I think in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll probably even reach to 1.5 to maybe 1.6 billion dollars. If we start to do review of our natural resource sector and start demanding for more in terms of royalties, we can claim this budget as far as $2 billion in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from you.
Yeah, quickly, I just want to say something quickly about what Mr. Famula said, that the projection in seeing ways that the government have been able to close some of the leakages. The government has been able to put in place structures to make sure that people defrauding the system, those problems are corrected. A projection is not an indicator. The government has not shown us that evidence. So we can say for the fact that the government woke up and said that now they're going to put forth a budget of $1.2 million. It means that everything in the economy has been stabilized. What I can say to you, on paper, $1.2 million.
Billion.
It's a very $1.2 billion is what we consider to be grandiosity, a very, very big idea, a very big dream, a very big wish. But now let's look at our economy. Is the economy performing to generate that money? Again, when you're making this kind of budget, you ask yourself as a country, how much are you generating internationally and locally? Do not rely on the United States. Do not rely on France. Do not rely on the European Union to give you budget support. Let this be based on what you are generating as a country. Let me take this at the family level. If I'm making a budget for my family on a monthly basis, if I say my monthly expenditure is hypothetically $5,000, I should have no room that will say, oh, well, my friend George Kennedy, can someone just mute? That's echo in the background.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that I should have no room to say, oh, well, my friend and brother, Mr. Kennedy, is going to give me $300 every month. It shouldn't be that. It should be predicated on what I earn, what we earn as a family. If Mr. Kennedy chooses to give me help, let it be something that is completely off the budget. It's kind of whether I get it or not, I can be able to sustain my family. The number sounds good. It shows things are happening in the country, but I'm still a little bit apprehensive. There have been too many budget shortfalls. They gave you projection at the end of a giving period. They can't raise money.
So,
Yeah.
Gentlemen, let me hold you there, Moses, and hold the rest of the other guys and speak with the senior economist, one of the guy who we have high respect for, very learned, Sam Jackson, quickly. Sam, let's hear from you. We've been talking about this latest news about the 1.2 billion national budget that the executive submitted to the national legislature. First, we want to ask, do you think this is realistic?
Well, the thing is, look, anytime a budget goes up, you have to be, this is positive for Liberia, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we just have to do a deep dive into the numbers, okay? The last budget was 880 million, and this is 1.2 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 36% increase, okay, in terms of amount. But here are some significant things that people should take a look at. Core revenue, right? The thing from taxes, okay, and fees and all this kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the base. That's the base of the budget. Okay, let's see how far that went up, because core revenue would indicate the health of the economy, expansion of GDP, increased tax revenues, and so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm hearing, and I haven't confirmed, that there may be some extraordinary payments to the government of Liberia in the next period that could have caused this budget figure to rise to the level it has. So you're projecting for 2026 just 5% GDP growth rate, right? A 5% GDP growth rate cannot translate into a 36% increase, okay? So one of the extraordinary items are some concessions are being paid, for example, like the Oriental All Blocks, the Total All Blocks, the expansion of the Metal concession, because don't forget this happened before the Ellen administration, where there were a lot of signing bonuses, and you saw the budget rise up to almost $622 million. But it was about 12 years ago. Remember that figure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but then the budget has been flatlining right between 550 to 600 until 2024, when it went up to 732, and now it's up at $880 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the calculation has to be made. The base of the budget, which is called the core revenue, okay? Income taxes, taxes on international trade,
those kinds of things, who are basically good indicators of a strong, healthy, and growing economy, you will see that in core revenue. So until I see the core revenue amounts, and I make a determination as to what other revenue receipts there are there in terms of increased aid, all of those questions need to be asked. But I have to go to the budget. But on the surface, $1.2 billion seems to be a positive for the country.
Now, so what does that mean? You've been a senior economist. What does that mean? And what message does it send to our neighbors and the international community?
So then, what you have to look at, right? Then you have to look at the fiscal space in the budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fiscal space in the budget is the difference between expenditure, okay, and revenue, right? And then because when you do goods and services, when you do salaries, okay, and when you do the other ones, and whatever is left over should typically go in what they call public sector investment, right?
200
now,
million, yeah.
if we see a serious leap, okay, the last time about 9% of the fiscal space was 9%. So let's see what that fiscal space is in this new budget. Okay, so it was about $100 million in the last budget, in this 2025 budget. So does it go up to say $200-300 million, which would be good for the country, because now you're investing in long-term projects, right? But you're fixing roads, you're building hospitals, and you're supporting infrastructure, you do all the kind of stuff, right? And these are all drivers of economic growth.
Mr. Jackson,
Yeah.
this is George Kennedy. The numbers read just now shows that core revenue is around $700+ million, which is very good.
Okay.
And
Well, which is good.
yeah, very good.
So then,
And they're talking about the leakage. We're talking about public sector investment fund. It's around $200-300 million, which is also
Yes.
excellent. That's why I said this budget is the numbers are good.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, here it is now.
Yeah.
But let's be fair, right?
Yeah.
The difference between core revenue, okay, and the expenditure figure is almost $500 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So it means that there was some budget support for international community, and there have been some extraordinary income from the government of Liberia.
Yeah.
You follow me, right?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Yeah, because if core revenue is just at $700 million, what makes up for that difference to put revenues up to $1.2 billion to finance the expenditure? So it means that there must be some extraordinary revenue items. And what are those extraordinary revenue items? So we have to make a deep dive into that.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I said we wanted to see the details.
So, Mr. Jackson, before you go, I know the Mount Wata and the rest of our other people in the rural parts and urban, when the yearly sort of figure of 1.2 billion, they think that the government has a lot of money and their hopes, are raised up high. What do we say to them?
Well, look, if you put that difference, okay, into, say, you were to build more schools, you furnish hospitals, you put medicine in the hospital, and you did something, for example, like you put like $20 or $30 million into micro loans from Mount Wata and with the market women and stuff, or you put some credit guarantee schemes in. Those are other things. So I haven't read the budget. It was just submitted today, but I plan to look at it if it's online over the weekend. I'm going to go do a deep dive, and I will have a more detailed analysis, and I will have more informed opinion. Okay, when I see what those figures are.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jackson.
You're welcome very much. Nice to talk to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Moses, you were in flight. Let's hear from you, Moses, quickly.
Yeah, look, as I was saying, it is good to hear that the government is making efforts to improve the living condition of our people. The $1.2 million, like I said earlier, it sounds real good. But like Mr. Jackson said, how do you account, where do you intend to generate the additional 36%? If we are relying on what we call budget support from the West, that's a problem. On an annual basis, the United States gave Liberia what? $163 million for budget support. So what if Mr. Trump chooses that, hey, you know what? I don't think we should be throwing the taxpayers of the United States money to Liberia. Instead of $163 million, we'll begin to give Liberia only what, $10 million. How do you fill that void? The European Union, wherever you get from them for budget support, what if they also are cut down on that? How do you fill the void?
Okay.
And lastly, let me say this, Sober. We come with these numbers. We come with all these numbers. But when you look at the expenditure of the country, if you are spending over 80% of your national budget on recurring expenditure, paying salaries, keeping the lights running, our government agencies, maintenance of vehicles and all of that, and you are spending less than 10% of that money on the people of the country, you're not making any progress. You just generate money to pay people.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from George Kennedy quickly.
So probably you need to help us again, Mr. George,
To read
those sources of revenue. Let Mr. Sandy hear where the sources of revenue, when they talk about code, when they talk about this and that. The United States government does not give Liberia budgetary support.
No.
Let us clear this fight.
They come to USAID.
They
That's
come
what they
through
were
their
doing.
NGO, the projects that they do here through their NGO, that's it. They don't give money to the government, say, this is for you to put in your budget, unless Sweden and other countries.
Yep.
The U.S. government, the last time they gave budgetary support to Liberia, you're doing the Ebola. $5 million for that hazard fund. As I was there during the signing. So to say budgetary support to the Liberian government, they make a research.
No, that's not true. And
It's not-
just to add up, I try to.
The information is public. The information is public. The United States on an annual basis.
Mr. Sandy,
No,
no.
the NGOs, the
Okay,
U.S.
guys,
NGOs,
All right.
They were funding USAID and they withhold. They have now withdrawn of the
Yeah,
funds.
not direct
Now,
budget support.
Where I talked about
Yeah, I
the
know.
closing of the leakages and Mr. Sandy tries to push back on it. Do you know that over 6 years in this country, there were institutions that were withholding taxes and were not being paid to national government? Even where I worked, we owe the government close to $6 million in income taxes. Yes. Now, when this new government came in, there were discussions around the table, and now LEC is paying on those income taxes because every month, as we take paid, there are income taxes that are supposed to be remitted to government. Even GST, there were institutions that are collecting GST on behalf of the government and they're not paying.
Related.
So all of these, leakages have been closed up. So if you can sit in America and want to trash out things that we know on the ground, and you say, no, that's not true. People just throwing big numbers. We're not stupid people, Chief. We read these things, we follow up on it. The United States government does not give Liberia budgetary support.
Direct budgetary support. No.
They pass that money through USAID. The European Union, now, what they're doing now, they put themselves in this consortium of international
has cut
partners.
all the aid.
They've cut all of their aid. Now, what most of the guys are doing, including the EU and stuff, they're taking their money and putting it into the World Bank and other people to do developmental project. There's some of these projects you see, the expansion of the electricity supply under the EU. We had one called the Monrovia Consolidation Project. It was funded by the EU. So they're no longer giving you money now. They're passing the money through the international organization like the World Bank and say, look, we can give you this. Or if they want to give you money, they will say, we're giving you grant for the development of this aspect. The project that is now being done in Sino and other places to electrify those places, it was funded by the EU. Even the Buchanan project, it was a grant from the EU.
Okay.
So please read those numbers again, I beg you.
You still want me
to statement.
Moses, come quickly.
Yeah, look, so it's good that my friends have already agreed indirectly. When you say budget support, if the United States prior to the Trump administration made investment in Liberia through USAID. Take, for example, JFK and other institutions, especially in the area of health. Huge investment. That was a significant help for the Liberian government. The European Union, they gave you grant. They say, hey, we're going to pay for this service. You talk about electricity services and all of that, and other meaningful projects in the country. They are helping you to minimize your expenditure as a country. That's what I was saying, that if you are relying on international support to help you fund some of these key projects, if these people stop, that can impact what? Your economy.
Okay.
And I'm happy that you guys have agreed.
Let me read this quick. Moses, according to the draft fiscal year 2026 budget, domestic revenue accounts for US 1.13 billion.
1.13 billion, yeah. 1.13 billion.
1.13 billion, okay. 1.13 billion, 94%, while external resources represent US 72 million, which is 6%. Domestic revenue projections include tax revenue of US 726.97 million, non-tax revenue of US 83.92 million, metal sign-on bonus of US 200 million, and contingent revenue of US 28 million.
So probably let me explain that number to Mr. Sandy. I didn't see this number before coming here. They said domestic revenue, the money that we're raising in Liberia, is 1.13 billion. That 1 billion 130 some more million dollars. The one that we are expecting from those
External
multilateral institutions and other things, that 28. How much is it? 28 there?
No, 70 something.
70, no.
external resources represent 72 million.
Okay, 72 million. That's 72 million we're expecting.
Yeah.
So even if
There's
those
a shortfall.
that shortfall of those 72 million,
We can still close
once
that
we
gap.
raise 1.1 plus billion
We
dollars,
can still close that gap.
it can be closed.
Yeah.
It is something that it is the number that the numbers me I'm looking at. If we can raise tax revenue and not tax revenue of 1 point something billion, it means that Liberia on her own can raise that money.
Okay.
Like I said,
Yes,
you know, during the inception of this government, I saw the LRA team visiting all of the institutions, because there were a lot of these institutions that were not paying remittance taxes to the government for many years, for the past 6 years. Now, I think they've reached agreement where they have now closed all of these loopholes, so people now start paying. So that's why you see where now it
Huge jump
is
in it.
projected that the revenue is going to drop, because if NASCOP, NPA, LPRC, and all of these people are not paying income taxes, you're talking about millions of dollars that the government is losing every month. If they now start paying because they are supposed to pay,
Yeah.
what's going to happen? You know,
Even Prime FM,
he talks about
we're holding tax.
he talks about issues of these donor projects also. Yes, some way somehow they are actually contributing to the development process, but that is not a budgetary support. Budgetary support means if you say you have $10, right? Out of that $10, you are expecting $5 from Edwin Fambule as a support to be able to implement your budget. These are all things that are outside of our budgetary process.
Okay. Moses, any comment on that so that we can transition quickly?
Well, look, the guys have conceded indirectly. And, I don't know what Mr. Famula is talking about. He says that that's not budgetary support. But if you are telling us that the international community has agreed to give you $72 million, and even if you read the budget document, it says what? Budget support, and you want to dispute that, you still need the money, or you need the support.
I think Moses
to
have also
implement your project.
for also transition. I think the only thing we can do as a people, as a country, to achieve the number that has been announced, the 1.2 billion. Let us now focus on external much, and let our focus be on what we can raise domestically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
You know,
I can name few countries.
and
I can name few countries that give direct budgetary support in terms of monetary value. The Swedish government is one.
Okay.
They actually give us money, and I think one or two other countries.
Yeah.
You know, we will sometimes
Norway.
And the second thing I would let us say, why it is, you know, what I've just said, that, you know, let us just concentrate on our domestic in the meantime. I'm sure we can reach that number. Equally so, also we can be pessimistic. You know, we gotta be optimistic. You know?
Of course.
Let's know that we got some projections. You know, there are projections that we are depending on some good friends. You know,
and so
to help us with our budget.
There's actually somehow a downside of this number growing. And, you know, taxation.
Yeah.
Taxation eats in people's income. So if I want to discuss it as an economist, I would say, look, I hope the government does not increase
taxes
because on
and that's smart.
Yeah.
If you read the IMF condition that was set for that credit line, it also talks about that.
Yeah.
Improving on the GST, improving on you know, so there are a lot of things that are in play here.
Yeah.
Right? Now, but Mr. Jackson struck a very good point. Now, the coming in of all of these new concessions, the Ivanhoe, the Mittal Steel expansion, the Oronto oil deal, the Total
Energies.
So all of these things are going to be contributing, because there will be revenue that will come out of those particular processes that will contribute towards our budget.
Yeah.
So that could also be a driver towards our budget.
Now, gentlemen, one of the ways I think the government is also looking at in you know, to reach the number or achieve the number we're talking about is the issue of you know, tax collection, especially from maybe, you know, transport for the transport sector. But again, here we are faced with a problem where we got two institutions, you know, two transport institutions, the Labrador Transport Authority and the
Labrador
Traffic Management Fine and the Ministry of Transport, fighting over who has the authority to collect, you know, or to register vehicles. I think the government has to actually, you know, address that also. Whether is the Labrador Transport Management or is the Ministry of Transport. So, you know, again, like I said, let's focus on raising more domestic revenue.
That's it. You're right.
The best, you know, that would be the best way that we can achieve the number. But thanks to the managers of of our fiscal space,
especially the Minister of Finance, the Minister of
for
Finance.
that. I mean, we give you kudos for that, Mr. Minister. You and your team. You know, and likewise the revenue. I mean, the LRA as well.
Yeah.
You know, so let's give them the kudos for the job well done. 1.2 billion. I'm sure we can address. We can achieve that. Yeah. Now, gentlemen, let's start the transition. Yes, so, Moses.
Quickly. I just want to comment about the concern you guys raised regarding the Ministry of Transport and this other private entity, you know, that is also engaged with the registration of vehicles in the country. I mean, I'm finding it difficult that we have a society that will allow two institutions to exist, you know, executing the same function after this problem was resolved. Is the government not able to resolve this problem? The Transport Ministry is executing one component and you have a private entity doing almost the same thing? I don't know.
I'm a vehicle owner. I will always go to Transport Ministry. Case closed on that one, and I hope the Liberian Post should just
but George, we need a unified structure. It should not be about people making a choice.
Yeah,
let me use myself as an example here. I live in the state of Delaware. Anything that has to do with transportation, registration, everything go through what? The division of what? Transportation.
It's true.
You don't go to private entities?
In fact,
the government control that, yes.
noise recently somewhere
There were
red
Oh,
lights.
red light.
Where the LTM transport management team, when they were in red light and trying to confiscate the kekes,
Yeah, I saw it on-
and forcing them to go to register with them. That is totally, if we don't address this sort of problem, they could spark off into serious public, upheaval. And then what happens at the end of the people running here and there? It shows that we don't have, we're not handling responsibly, and we should be able to make a decision. Look, transport union, you take over your statutory mandate, or Labrador transport management. You also you do this, and let the transport union do this. But just recently, we saw people running helter skelter. Keke and police again were fighting because the transport management team went there and confiscating people Keke and saying the boys have to go register. You can't force the people as to where to go.
Slower. I
And-
listened to Moses very clean, right? But these were some of the SSCs that came over, because you are hearing talking about canceling and doing XYZ. This was a concession. It passed through our legislature. It was passed by the former president.
It was not passed properly.
No.
No. That's the reason why the North has been there.
So
we
2018.
hosted a couple of guys
Yes, it was actually forged. Some part of that.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, there are
That's actually
processes.
criminal procedure.
Yeah.
People-
So there are processes. There are processes, because I also read the Ministry of Justice revision of that particular document. Right? There are processes in dealing with these things. At the end of the day, if you're not careful, the government could end up in court, because these guys also brought in logistics. They brought in a lot of things into the country.
But that does not preclude the government from making sure
Of course.
that the appropriate things are
So
done.
that's why.
No.
So that's why this current legislature, I think, put some kind of hold on it or so.
As a
But
better-
according to
Yes.
reports, they are still functioning. They were at somewhere.
I saw the
fine.
video.
In fact,
They were in red light.
In fact, even their vehicles are going around, parking
That's
gravel
totally-
off the road. And
it just shows that our country is, we don't have any law. That's what it shows. Because for transport, for the national legislature to put a hold on the operation of the Labrador transport management, and yet they are still
It's
operating, it's totally unacceptable. So how do we raise the revenue we're talking about? If they arrested my car tomorrow, I said, no, I'm not going there because
I'm not going there.
I'm not going there.
I'm going to the Ministry of
I'm going to the Ministry of
Transport.
Transport.
The same issue that we're having now at the port with these Metex and CTM and all of these things, and these are also revenue leakages in our system.
Yeah, surely.
Because why do we need to bring some foreign company to come and collect our revenue at the port? We can set up our own stuff. Look, we live in a digital world. You can put 2-3 librarians behind the decks to value those things based on the price of it, and then at the end of the day, they would have to pay anybody.
And now one of the things we discussed on the program and a time to go, what do we put a lot of trust in international or foreign institutions than the local? Why?
Because we don't trust ourselves.
Oh no, it's bad. It's bad. We'll talk about that. But gentlemen, let's transition. Again, listeners and viewers, kindly share the show. You are listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. This program is also relayed by several stations outside of Monrovia. We are streaming live on Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. That's Nighttime Heat Facebook page and the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Gentlemen, let's start the transition now to talk about the asset recovery. Today, the head of the team held a major press conference slamming indictments on some former government officials. That has come with mixed reactions. But first, let's listen to the video. Let's listen to the press conference, and then we can do our own analysis quickly.
And Property Retrieval Task Force. As you may know, this institution was created.
You're listening to the next
archive under Executive Order 126, and also
why these money were being moved. And we realized that there were no traceable business by the two companies. Investigation, we should proceed to court. I read deny hesitate, but use the due process in collecting all pieces of evidence linking to Bishop Rai. In the collection of our evidence, the petitioner in these proceedings, we were at the Supreme Court and challenged that they be turned over to the Republic of Liberia for prosecution. Rest assured that we have the international capability. Our partners, all in the United States and in the UK, are following as we speak to you. They are following this press conference, and they are in full support, as well as the government of Liberia in full support of us to ensure that this country fights corruption to the better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So, Chairman, my name is Archie Sebob here, and I report for Blaze FM TV Radio. But first of all, we appreciate you for the effort thus so far. Like you said in your release, the Liberian people, and there are many perceptions that the task force is just a mere bluff about just running after yellow taxi, as you mentioned. So, what measure is this institution instituting that to convince the conscience of Liberians that it's not just about mere attack on previous government officials? And are you also focusing on present government officials who have come to power in less than no time, also acquiring wealth?
Thank you. You know, in the past 6 months, criminal and financial investigations are not done in the twinkle of an eye. This is why, quote unquote, people are saying that asset recovery of VLA, asset recovery inactive, asset recovery sitting down, so finally not doing anything. In criminal investigation and in financial crime investigation have to do with the movement of money, and which also relates to the proceeds of crime, money laundering, other financial crime violations. They have processes. Even the acquisition and the gathering of evidence, they have processes. Because for me to take evidence on you, I'm going to do it through the due process of law. So we cannot disclose to you where we are when it comes to current officials of government who, as you claim, have amassed wealth just in a short period of time. I want to let you know that all these pieces of evidence, when they come to us, we take our own time to evaluate and to see how best we can put them under the spotlight of investigation. As I said, no one is above the law. Here, no one is above the law. We go after you based upon the evidence we have. If the evidence is sufficient enough, the capability to hold you, we go after you. But if there's no evidence to hold you, definitely will not go after you. But rest assured that nobody is above the law.
Yeah, my name is Frederick Tia, and I report for ELBC. If ARC is successful in recovering these assets, how will you ensure that these assets are not destroyed?
What we intend to do is we are working along with our partners in the government of Liberia. We want to establish, especially when it comes to the issue of the funding that we will recover. We make sure that we develop a system through which that they will not be recycled, and make sure that, because all around the world, corruption proceeds are used for tangibles. Sometimes used to build schools, used to build hospitals, used to build roads, and you see that if you travel to Nigeria or Sierra Leone or Ghana, you see some of the projects that go on the proceeds from anti-corruption. So that's why we intend to initiate in Liberia. That they will not go back just for salary, no. We want to use it to build hospital as proceeds from anti-corruption.
Okay, I'm Carmen Lomo. I work for the News Public Trust. I'm concerned about the first indictment that was June from the Sunny Rice. Mary brought part of that indictment, but we are not seeing her in reporting to the court. Has she been dropped from the indictment? And secondly, does your asset recovery also have statute of limitation? Because we're talking about 20 years. You're going to investigate people who allegedly stole government properties, maybe like the past 20 years. Do we have statute of limitation on that?
The law provides that you are barred on the statute of limitation where there is notice. Where that issue has been brought to the notice of the state, and the state did not act in keeping with law, you are barred by the statute of limitation.
Okay, gentlemen, let's try to pause it now. The story is today the asset recovery team that in fact went quiet for some time after the noise concerning the departure of Martin Colley and the rest of them, and the issue of accusations were being traded. Today, the asset recovery team really emerged and inducted some former officials. We even heard about the wife of former interim president, Selman Sawyer as well. We don't know whether she's still in prison, but she was picked up. We heard about Finda Bono as well. But gentlemen, let me hear from you, and beginning with you, Edwin. Asset recovery team has resurrected. What's your reading in all of this, and also judging from what transpired that led to the asset recovery team to go to sleep, and they has finally waking up again? Let's hear from you.
Well, when I actually listened to this press conference today, a lot of things came to my mind. In as much as we actually against people, looting the state in whatever form and manner, when they have the opportunity to serve or when they are around the corridor of power. But we've listened for, like you said, the last time this whole assets recovery team came out with the Grace Riot thing, went to court, and then they went way wide, and then the whole thing just quieted down. And then they pop up again, Then we go back again to the indictment from the LACC with the Samuel Tuer, the rest of the people or so. It makes big news in Liberia. And then afterward, just quiet down. Tuer and other people are out there still walking around the street. So, when these things comes out and people are not seeing the immediate result because of the slow process around our judicial system, at first it creates excitement. And then as times go by, people start losing interest because they're not seeing, actually what all of these things are going to end up to. Now, one of the things that I think we need to do first, and I actually commend the Assets Recovery Team for the effort that they're trying to make. But if we want to have results, we need to fast track the establishment of the Anti-Corruption Court. And I feel that there have been late service given to that particular institution that's supposed to have these courts created. And I sit here because I have a lot of knowledge on that whole process. The office of the the office of the War and Economic Crime Court, this particular institution was created by an executive order from the president. And I can tell you this, it's been poorly funded. There are many times that the people who work there don't even take pay until up to 5, 6, 7, 8 months. I have instructors who are working there. I have friends who are there, and they complain to us every day. The office is right in Mamba Point. It's under the Ministry of Justice. I don't even know how many times the Minister of Justice has ever gone to that place. Now, our trial system in Liberia says that people who are indicted should be tried by jurors. We have this whole jury trial. Now, who are the jurors? They are the little people out there or so who doesn't understand all of these financial jargons and stuff. They go to court. Let's say those indicted actually maybe did some wrong things or so. They go to the lawyer and say, look, you know what? How can we win this case? They say, no, don't worry. Once I try by jury, we can mesmerize those jurors. They will set you free. I have not seen in this country where the government have taken a appeal to go to the Supreme Court, because it is not a law, but there's a doctrine that the government have all of the resources at her disposal. So when the government lost the case at the level of the lower case, it becomes difficult for that case to go forward. So those individuals, even if they were guilty of the crime, once the jurors set them free, they was free. But if you have a court a heartbreak code that says that look, we're going to have judges who have accounting background, who have auditing background, who have economic background, cybercrime background, and they are the jurors. They're going to look at the evidence presented by the state, the evidence presented by the accused, and analyze it and come up with a decision to say whether Famulé is guilty or not. They will be moving somewhere. But I bet you these cases will go to court, and they will just linger in the court for next, 3, 4, 5 years. Like it is now with the 12 case. When last did we hear the 12 case got back on the drug?
Your concern is the asset recovery has not started any case to sustain any sort of conviction.
I've not seen that yet.
Okay.
Even the LACC.
Let's hear from you, your takeaway from what asset recovery did today.
It's good news, but as Mr. Famulé said, these people are entitled to bail bonds.
Of course.
And this case, as it goes to court, these people are going to file bond, and they're going to be working. And it will discourage every other person. Look, the Liberian people, frankly, if the judicial system already strong, well reformed, and very strong, the Liberian people will have seen the fruit of fighting corruption. But right now, with the system, the president cannot just say, grab that person, put in jail.
No.
Because it's a legal issue. He's not a lawyer. So he leaves it with the lawyers. And when the lawyers go to court, they have the power to follow the court procedure. So why is that it's a good step? Even those that are accused, some of them, whether they committed a crime or not, especially those who committed a crime, they know that they stand good chance. Some of them feel that they stand good chance to walk out of the case because of the procedure. Mr. Twer's case should have been over by now. The Capitol building arson case should have been, those are special cases that should have been over by now. But you see some of those accused on Facebook with their freedom attacking institutions and individuals.
Okay. Moses, let's hear from you. Your takeaway from what transpired today by the asset recovery team, and judging also from why the team went to bed a few months ago, and some of the accusations, the counter accusations, in fact, that led to the departure of Ibayo Gonkwe and Martin calling the rest of them. Let's hear from you, Moses.
Well, look, on this one, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Famulé, and I will agree. In theory, it sounds real good that we are fighting corruption, but in reality, that is not the case. We have a criminal justice system in Liberia that is extremely corrupt. Let me use myself as an example. I have a case in Liberia. Somebody encroached on my property. I paid a lawyer. As I speak to you now, it is almost 1 year. No progress. No progress. Not from my end, but because we have a very corrupt criminal justice system. Now let's come to asset recovery team, the prosecutor. Let's look at the entity itself. Mr. Famulé and I will agree that it is often stated in the legal world that he who comes to equity must come with what? Clean hand.
Yes.
Right, Mr. Famulé? That's what you guys say in the legal world. So you have an entity that has an image of what? Dishonesty. Some of the commissioners walk away from the very commission because they claim that the head of the commission is allegedly corrupt. The commission is being what? Mismanaged. So if you have integrity problem, you have a reported integrity problem, then how do you go after other people to prosecute them? The president needed to correct this problem, but the president hasn't done it. The commission remains what? Incomplete. 3 members walk away. Alice Coffey, Mountain and this guy Gongloy from the NPA. They walk away. They walk away. Now you're talking about prosecuting people. People who work for you are not being paid for months. Do you have money to prosecute criminals? Are you not vulnerable? These people you're going after, they have millions of dollars. Someone has echo in the background. Can you just mute? These people have millions of dollars. You are vulnerable. You can't fight this case. And like Mr. Famula said, this case is just going to linger on because what? You guys will go to court. They will spend money. They will hire lawyers. The lawyers will defend them, and we will make no progress. That is absolutely a mere publicity stunt. Let me start.
Okay. Now, gentlemen, let me ask you guys, the three of you. We saw and heard and read about first the arrest of former Foreign Minister D-Max Okemaya. And we also heard about and saw the arrest of Mary Brewer by the same asset recovery. And as we speak, since the recovery team was set up, he has not really sustained any major case that will lead to conviction of people. Now, are you guys trying to give us the impression that there's no need directing resources, state resources, to pumping into asset recovery when, as we speak, nothing has been done?
In my opinion, I think that team should be reinforced. They should
reinforce or restructured?
Or restructure, whatsoever. Restructure, because some members left. Have they been replaced? No. So you need to restructure that team to give it the kind of credibility. That's the first thing. Second thing, that team almost like DEA. It's not an easy thing. Look, if even the word, one thing he said when the journalist asked him, he said your statute of limitation begins when the government starts a case with you. If you did something 20 years ago and that case emerges now by government, they issue you that case. After 5 years, your statute of limitation, government doesn't go after you. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it means that the power they have, they can raise lots and lots of revenue for this country. They need to be supported, but they need to rebrand our institution and give it the kind of image. And he said another thing: monies generated from this particular process, asset recovery process, will not be used for salaries, will not be used for recurrent costs. It will be used to build schools, to build roads that people will see. They say these are the proceeds government collected from corrupt people. This is what they use on. So the people can use those things and see. Good idea. But still, we need to go and restructure that institution. Yeah.
What needs to happen first?
No, I was looking at, do we still need, because the country is struggling. We have a couple of areas that need resources. We need to direct our resources there. There was this noise when the asset recovery was set up with Martin Kuhn and the rest of the guys, the three other guys left and raising the issue about integrity. Do we still need to pump in money, especially when the asset recovery has not really started a case to really sustain conviction?
So the asset recovery was created by an executive order.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that after every year, the president will have to renew it. The day the president stopped to renew it, it's no longer an institution, because executive order lasts for only a year. Mm-hmm. So every year the president will have to renew it. Now, the assets recovery itself is a good process because the LACC may have limitations where they cannot go. Now, what needs to happen first is to set up an anti-corruption court. That's the first basis. Now, because all of these people that you're going to be arresting and investigating them, they need due process. They need to go to court. They need to be heard.
Yeah.
Now, with the kind of a system you have, our justice system, our court dockets are all filled. You're not going to go there and say put all of the cases aside and deal with these people. So
are you saying that we need to redirect the money?
We need to redirect the money. We need to redirect the money now. Set up the court first. Mm-hmm. Have these judges trained that will sit there, give us some kind of a hybrid nature, right? To say, because at the end of the day, the final arbiter is going to be at the Supreme Court. So if the people who are indicted, if they lost the case at the level of the specialized court, they go to the Supreme Court for their final judgment. Now, establish the court. Have the court set up, because we have a lot of these cases. Now, even if you read these audit reports, there are people who are indicted in these audit report. This guy from LWSC, I think Dwana Kamara.
Yeah.
When the guy went for the public hearing, he admitted that, yes, I did X, Y, Z. What has happened to that case? We haven't even heard it. It's still dragging at LCC. I'm sure LCC get more than 100 cases on their docket. But these cases go to court. It takes long time. It drags. So set up this hybrid court first. And then now these guys now have the muscles, because as they're going out there, they're bringing these people.
So
they're going through due
it
process.
means that, are you saying we need to put a pause on the operation of asset recovery until we can have a court?
What I wouldn't say
because
that.
when you
can do all two simultaneously.
No, you can't do all two simultaneously.
Why?
You don't have money. The government is struggling for money.
No, but
then you're taking money, giving it to asset recovery that has not started the case and a case that resulted in the conviction. You spend money on asset recovery, but at the same time, you're spending money on setting up the court.
No, this is how.
Is that what you want the government to do?
This is how you do it. At first, when the LHCC was funded, they never had teeth to bite. So it means that they just investigate. They were not even doing a prosecution.
That was under
now,
the previous administration.
Now,
that was under the
But they gave it to them. He's going to a point as getting a prosecutorial power.
So now they give them the prosecution power, right? So they do but yes, still the prosecution arm of the government is the Ministry of Justice. So the Ministry of Justice has thousands of cases, range from murder, from this and that on the docket. Now these cases have to go to the various criminal assizes. A, B, C, D, right? And when you go there, these court dockets are also filled with cases. So to be able to fast track this process, you need to have a court that deals directly with corruption cases.
Let me come to you, Mr. Kennedy. The issue of asset recovery, this is not the first time we've heard it. We heard about asset recovery again on a former president. In fact, it was being then headed by Serena Cephas. It didn't last long. It had a short left span. Again, we are hearing about asset recovery that has started cases and went to bed and again returned. We are pumping lots of money. You think it's just about spending money wrongly to what we're supposed to spend money?
No. You see, this is a test case. And in everything, in my opinion, in the institution or in the country, if you start this type of process, it's just as the same as the cartel that drops DEA people 40. They will fight back. No alleged criminal wants to see the asset recovery function properly. And these people, some of them will be connected with the system, within the system. So as Mr. Famule said, the first thing we need to do, not to stop them, not to stop support to the asset recovery team. They've been investigating overseas and other things since they went quiet. They were not sitting. Now they say they got forensic evidence against these people. But if you carry it to the regular court system, it's going to be there dying. So what you do is get a specialized court. It's not difficult. A lot of experts sitting there waiting.
Of course.
Get a specialized court. Send the people there for trial. And you will see the difference. We cannot allow people to take millions and millions of taxpayers' money that's supposed to help build this country. Then we'll be here suffering the taking away. Begging foreigners.
Both of you agreed with Moses. Moses initially said, "What happened to them? What's been happening? Getting asset recovery work? It's just public citizen storm." And do you agree with it?
Well, he said it in a context. The context that some member, especially the head of this team, has credibility problem. So what they did is just publicity stunt. That's why I pick up from him. Because once you have credibility problem, definitely for you to succeed will be difficult. Mr. Sandy, in my opinion, or from the way I understood him, look, restructure or whatsoever, reform this team, make it more independent and put credible people there to function. He's not against the functioning of the asset recovery team. So he's saying he who comes with clean equity comes with clean hair. So if the head of the team is being accused of so being corrupt and this and that, and he stayed there, in Mr. Sunday's opinion, which I agree with, if all it is true, there's a need to replace the head of the team, whoever that is that got thing on their hand to make it more credible. Yeah, that's where for me I stand.
And Slobon, you know, all of these fight against corruption, we take clue from the Nigerian system. When the EFCC came in, right? At one point in time, the EFCC was very vibrant because they had a young guy who was focused, had a very good reputation or so. So people, Nigerians who were involved with grief, so they were kind of afraid because the guy could go after you because he was clean. In fact, even there was another one again in Sierra Leone. A very young guy, right? Now, but at the end of the day, because our process called for due process, you have to put these people through the trial system, your whole legal system. And that's where it gets messed up. Whether we elected or not. That's where it gets delayed. And
you get frustrated.
You get frustrated. Because even a government lawyer cannot go impose on the judge. The judge is the person in charge. The judge will tell you, say, look, you know what? We're not going to assign our case in 2025. Or 2027. What will you say? You can't force the judge to put a case on the docket because there are three branches of government, three separate coordinated branches of government. The president cannot interfere in the working of the.
And the judge is not doing so out of biasness.
No, because there are cases on the docket.
Cases are on the docket.
Cases are already been
so you know, like how we did with the rape court here, right? There was no rape. There was no rape code here. But then they came out with criminal code E because Madam Salif had interest in rape cases. So she was like, look, because we're having all of these cases, it's delaying, we don't want to put the pass through, your form criminal code E. Criminal code E were formed. We've been talking
fast-track
rape cases. We've been talking about corruption from, in fact, before I was even born. Why up to now we cannot have an anti-corruption?
No, gentlemen, let's go to another dimension for transition. Go ahead, Moses. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that what John said is absolutely true. That's what I meant. You know, you need to restructure that entire entity.
Institution,
you know,
of course.
If somebody is going to come after Moses Sandy, he said Moses Sandy is a dishonest man. And the man himself, people are looking at him and say, no, the master got something on him. That's a problem. They need a restructure. The president must do that. And what Brother Family said, the creation of a specialized court to fast track corruption cases in the country, I think that has to be done because even the LSCC, the Anti-Corruption Commission Agency, commission, the LSCC is also stuck. Why do you think you have Natana Magay and all the other people there walking around? The people from the car. Why do you think all these people walking around? Because what? The people know how to manipulate the system. If you don't take time, that will go, and you're not making no progress.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, the team, the asset recovery team, also, and this question is coming to you, Edwin. You are a student of law. Also indicted the daughter of Finda Bondo on grounds that bulk of the business transactions went through were all in this girl's name, in his daughter's name. Do you think with the daughter overseas, can the team exercise any jurisdiction over this daughter?
Yeah, because she's an idol. She's above 18.
But she's overseas. She's like
no, but there are two things. We live in a global world today. I know there is no extradition treaty between Liberia and the United States.
Sure.
Not yet. That doesn't exist. But however, she's a Liberian citizen. She's not an American citizen. She's not a Liberian American citizen because I know the time she went to America, she was under foreign diplomatic immunity. She was working at the Liberian embassy. So that in itself excluded her from, applying for citizenship. Now, if the Liberian government wants to bring her back, they just need to contact Interpol and say where she's wanted. She needs to be cautioned. Wherever she is, she will be picked up and brought back to Liberia. And you see, I know this little child very well.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew her very well.
The mother or the child?
The child herself. Okay. Yes. You know, these are some of the things that the young people have to be very careful. You know, your parents are in positions of trust, and then you're out there flaunting wealth. You see some of the pictures that are coming up today on the internet, flying business class and holding huge quantities of money in your hand, and the people know the background of your family. Look, if you want to live like a celebrity, go and make business. You can come into government and be flying around the place in private jet and acting that you are a celebrity, and you think that these things will not come out. It's unfortunate for her that at that age she's now in this kind of quagmire.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, this is just an advice, because I know there are current people too in this government who maybe their kids may want to do the same thing because they see it. Look, anything you put on the internet, on social media, it stays there forever.
Yeah.
And that's why I think one time we should have talked about this whole social media thing, but we didn't talk about. We have to educate our people because they don't know.
We'll do that.
They're
Monday.
misusing it.
Because we will do that Monday. Okay,
So,
gentlemen.
so I think just to add up there, I think, I don't know if I'm right, but Mr. Famble could help there. If she's in America and she cannot come, I think they can try her even in the US.
Yeah.
And we've seen cases like that. I don't know what if happened in Liberia's case, but they could try her in the US if the Liberian government filed complaint.
Well,
and this and that.
What most of the trials that took place in the US of foreign nationals is probably linked to war crime.
War
because
crime,
war crime has
economic
jurisdiction.
crimes.
Okay.
Yeah, war crime has
economic crimes.
Yes.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's try to transition now. We got.
No, but let me
Yeah.
say something about this young woman.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, just looking at this young woman from a clinical perspective, what happened is that she was abused by her mother.
Yeah, I think
She's only being used, or she was used as a stooge.
Yeah.
They had her name affixed to accounts. They had her name affixed to accounts that she had no control of. No one would tell me that a very young woman like that, 26-year-old, with most of the coverage she said she's setting up businesses. Where would the money come from? The people only set up entities and affix her name to those entities while they benefit. They exploited her. And she has a very good legal team. They can put up a very good defense for her. If she can establish that she had no control of what was being, of things that happened, she can walk away.
Yeah.
It is a mom and the others would take advantage of her. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so
Yeah.
gentlemen, Okay, so welcome to the nighttime heat. We sincerely apologize. It was due to some, power failure, and so, but we are back on, and of course, gentlemen, we're talking about going to the next discussion. Let's try to get a tip quickly to play the tip regarding the return of His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boyka. Let's try to play the tip quickly.
So, be with us. The president is.
Briefly, he was speaking with the press. We have the presidential press secretary already stationed.
Yeah, my name is Master Talu. Welcome back to the country, Mr. President. You did visit the United Arab Emirates and France and held discussions with your counterparts. How important are those discussions to Liberia's growth, Mr. President?
Well, to the extent that they were reassuring, and some of the discussions were even beyond what we had expected, especially in France, and also in Dubai, but then also in the capital. Discussions were very, very good.
Okay, Mr. President, Princess Kosiba, and I report for KMTV. So as part of your engagement there in France, you have Liberians who reside there, and then they are pleading with you for the resumption of Air France to Liberia. How soon do we expect that?
I can promise that, but that's a discussion. We take note of all the discussions that go on when we travel. We don't make promises, but if there are things that we can work on, we take them with. We don't own Air France, so we have to discuss with the authorities. But I think that's what they want to see, and we just receive it in good faith.
Okay, Mr. President, welcome. You met with other folks in the UAE. Can you tell us some important investment that you are cognizant that the UAE will invest in Liberia in time to come, like next year, sir?
Well, there's much talk about the Emirates, the Liberia, but also more important to that is investment. And the king said they're going to send a team here that will work with us. I think that even more of something that we look forward to. And we believe the chances are great.
Okay, so Mr. President, we know that President Emmanuel Macron did invite you, but the UAE, was there an invitation, sir?
Yes. Otherwise I wouldn't have gone there. Invitation, not very official, but in China that we appreciate and that were more productive.
Mr. President, you did hold crucial meetings with French employment enterprise MENDEF, one of the largest employment enterprise in France. And there are several companies who were part of that meeting. And from the press release from the executive mansion, most of these companies expressed interest in wanting to invest here in Liberia. Mr. President, follow-up mechanism is key. When do we expect to see results from these companies?
The people around here are hearing you. We've done our work. We're supposed to do it on the ground, and we promise to do that. Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, so that's a
listen to
Joseph Yuma Boyka speaking there upon arrival at the Rabos International Airport. I think early this morning around 6 o'clock. I was trying to monitor. You listen to the president. He went to Paris and then on cross over to the UAE, where he held bilateral meetings. All we heard from the president were meetings were successful. What's your takeaway? Mr. Edwin Fambule?
Well, let me say first, to see the president looking very energetic, arriving at that time, imagine flying and coming home around 5 a.m. in the morning and still have the strength, the tenacity to actually have an interview. Even we who are the young people, if you fly all night, you get home, you're very tired. But he was still able to stand there and talk also. I think that was courageous. Now, to the visit in Paris, the president laid it keenly that there are a lot of opportunities that are going to follow. One of the journalists tries to ask him about Air France, and he was clear: we don't own the people flight. They will have to decide. Air France was flying to Liberia before. There were reasons why they stopped flying. So the president has no control over them to say, go and bring Air France here every 2-3 days or so. What if they don't have passengers? But there are dividends in most of his discussions that are going to come afterward. The last person who asked him about the meeting he had with the largest firms in France or so, I think it was reported on this radio station, and we even discussed it, that particular body has asked that if French Liberia Chamber of Commerce be established, so that it becomes easy for them to be able to come and invest. Now, what we know of that we can see, most of them have shown interest in coming to invest in the mining sector. Some of them want to come and invest into the agricultural sector and other areas also. And very soon, I think we'll start to see those dividends. To the UAE now, the UAE is a very rich country. For those of us that are opportune to have gone there, we've seen it or so. They have a very small population. They have a huge domestic workforce that trip in from different countries. I remember when I was going to Dubai, from Kenya, from Nairobi to Dubai, we pick up almost 1,000+ people just from within Nairobi, and most of them were just laborers that were going to Dubai. Women going to do house help, or men going to do other stuff or so. And I think when you open these bilateral discussions, where the president even said the king has even said that he's going to be sending a team to Liberia, to come and start building these kind of network or so. It could open doors for Liberian youth or young people who are looking for employment out there to go to the UAE and start working and start earning and sending money back home. So these are different avenues. He also talked about the Emirates Hospital that was built under the regime of former President Weah. Did he discuss with them to look at the role? Because they put a huge infrastructure in there. Are they looking at trying to see, okay, say we build a hospital there, we'll be able to put roads, or we'll be able to provide electricity so that we can sustain it? I think those were discussions that were here, and that they are going to yield positive.
Okay, let's hear from your takeaway.
Well, the president is a trained diplomat. He doesn't like to make pronouncements about things that has not started yet. He didn't tell us about the 3 years extension. It came just as a surprise after the U.S. visit. I know that from this French visit, a lot of things are coming. The other night, I spoke here and said, look, the president went there. I know he tried to cement our relationship with France, looking at our history in the 80s, where some military people of our government were in their embassy. I'm very happy that, in fact, the embassy is back, even though they're not in the same building. Probably they refuse to go in that particular fence. So they're in the right opposite the same building. But I see diplomacy at work. A lot of people saying, as Mr. Fambule said, the results of these visits. In fact, there was some discussion about the French president trying to come here. I know that he may come here late this year or earlier this year. And the UAE, as Mr. Fambule was saying, the hospital was built, the road connectivity is by, the type of equipment that needed in that particular hospital, the drugs and other things, while they are available there. And, probably the discussing in the UAE won't want to spend money in Liberia, build that type of beautiful structure without
So
furnishing
probably
it.
they may have discussed it.
Yes, I wasn't there, so I have to speak like someone, you know. Who wasn't. So the president will not go there. He got his farm in Bapulu. You always see that structure, and that structure, government may not have the money to really furnish it, equip it the way it's supposed to be, in line with its own structure as it looks. So probably he told them, look, there's a need to help us. You have done this good. There's a need. We need this for this hospital. We need this and that. So probably those things will come to fruition.
Okay, Moses, are you there still? Moses?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
So let's get your takeaway.
What I would like to say is that it is true. It is good that the president is traveling the world to make the case for Liberia, trying to mobilize international support for the country. It is plausible. However, I think the president is just making too many trips. He has to minimize. Wherever the president travels, you're talking about thousands of dollars.
Well, you hear the coin
also like hard news. Hard news.
But Moses has better done. Moses used to cover the cabinet building.
I'm telling you, you're busy. You used to do the hard news.
The men have hard news. They always scream politics about something. But I like that Moses.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you know. So what I was saying is that we have a foreign minister. Our job is to build Liberia's image abroad, make the case for Liberia abroad. Some of these trips can be dedicated to her. Hey, I want you to make this trip. This is the agenda. This is what we would like for you to push for. And the president can become selective and begin to attend the most critical. But if you're making all the trips, then Mr. Bwaka came to the president and said, I don't remember the last time that the foreign minister even made 4 or 5 trips before the president being on that trip. You know, it may sound critical, but I think the president needs to minimize the foreign travel. We are a poor country.
Yes. And Moses, I think the background from which you're speaking is that when the president travels, there's their high expectation, public expectations, high public expectations that the president is going to knock the doors of his international friends and return with some tangibles. But when he travels and he doesn't come with something of that nature to say, oh, okay, we held or we signed an agreement and some millions of dollars were signed and we put our signature to it. Moses is saying that if it happens with the foreign minister who travels and maybe she didn't bring anything, then there wouldn't be much attention being placed on the foreign minister. But for the president, if he travels and maybe something doesn't come back, at the end of the day, the president is traveling a lot and there's no dividends. Moses, I'm sure it's what you're saying, right?
Yes, definitely. That's what I'm saying. In order to minimize the level of criticism in the country and abroad, if the president can just become more selective and attend the most important programs or make the most important visits, that would be helpful. Instead of trying to be all over the place,
Okay.
So I don't know who was best suited to meet the French president in this case. I don't know who was best suited to meet President Trump in this case. I don't know who was best suited to meet the Japanese Prime Minister in this case. I don't know who had to say no results. I do understand the passion. I do understand the point from which Mr. Sandy speaks, but it is very critical that certain trip the leader makes. But I do agree also that in most cases, the foreign minister, as he's been doing, like the entire Liberia, bid for the UN Security Council, not permanent membership. More than 99.9% of the trade at the foreign ministry.
Yeah, so
yes, quickly, I want to open the line.
Let me just add to what Brother Josh said. First of all, when a foreign minister travels, to another country, she goes and meet her counterpart, not necessarily meeting the heads of state, because the heads of state, they themselves have their own schedule or so. But if the president of your country goes, they're going to meet with a counterpart. And there they sit and talk bilateral issues. They even go further than what the foreign minister will be able to convey. The foreign minister current trip to the United States, who she met was Marco Rubio. She didn't go to meet President Trump. When President Barack went to the States, he met with President Trump. So you can say that the foreign minister should go to France to go and meet President Macron. If she goes to France, she's going to meet her counterpart. You know, so all of these things, and like the president said, he went to the UAE. He met with the king. In fact, the king even said to him, he's sending a delegation to Liberia. So these are the dividend that you get. Yes, we all know that, you know, people think, but we need to start educating our people that when presidents travel, they don't take money in the bags to bring along with them. They go to sell their country. They go to establish bilateral ties. They go to strengthen relationship that will, in return, turn into investment, turn into some kind of bilateral system that comes to the country at a later date. That's what it is.
All right, gentlemen, let me try to. Yes, Moses, quickly, so I can open it down.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, let me just say this. Look, that's the purpose of having what? Foreign diplomats. That is the reason why you have emissaries who go to make the case on your behalf. As a president, you don't all the time have to be there. No, I said you want to tell me that you have diplomats that you don't trust. Yeah, the Secretary of State. How often do you see Donald Trump traveling the world? How often do you? How often do you see other world leaders traveling the world? There's echo in the background. There are people who make the case. I'm not saying that it is bad for the president to travel, but let's look at the costs associated with the travels of the president. Every time the president travels, you're not talking about less than $200,000. You're talking about thousands of dollars.
When President Trump traveled, it cost the American government almost $100 million. No.
We're talking about Liberia here. We're not talking about America. Can you compare
he said a scenario. He said a scenario.
Can you compare the economy of our country with the economy of America?
There's a reason why I brought it.
Can you compare the sophistication?
No, you cannot. So that's why. So his argument was that President Trump doesn't travel a lot, and we said that's not true.
It's not true.
President Trump travels a lot. Every time
US. Well, so we can say it's like we follow it.
You don't rap everywhere President Trump travels. And I'm just saying, for a single trip that President Trump made out of the United States, it's cost almost $100 million.
But because he has an economy, the man has the resources.
Okay,
so I was
to bring them the person, Mr. Sandy, no, that number you threw out there is not the actual number. I want to say the president trade us that cost $200,000.
So you see, he's trying to exaggerate.
Yeah, that's exaggeration. Okay. You look at the budget, the budget of the president's office. If you go to it, you will see travels.
To airlift just
look at international travel, you see
from the United States to Europe.
Don't talk about the United States. Okay, let me try to open the last quickly.
Open the last.
But look, so I beg you just a second. Yeah, just a second. Mr. Pamuda, the comparison you're making cannot hold. It's like you're trying to compare somebody who makes $200,000 a year, and you're comparing that person to somebody who makes $30,000 a year. How do you make such a comparison?
they're saying that
The
to
man who
say
makes
that
more money,
you are
we have more money.
producing-
Oh, you can't make that comparison.
It's not to compare the U.S. economy with that
not
of Liberia.
comparing
No,
the-
You can.
No,
But if I so you can just throw numbers out that you don't have any access
Any
to.
access-
Just a
All right.
200,000.
Okay, gentlemen, let me announce my numbers. Let me announce my numbers, and we'll continue with the debate.
Yeah.
That's the essence of the nighttime.
That's how you can agree.
0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Or better still, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. 0778 460 793. Or the alternative line, 0886 540 987. Again, 0886 540 987 or 0776 540 987. 0776 540 987. That's the alternative line. Or you call the studio's line 0778 460 793, 0778 460 793, or 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. Again, let me announce the numbers: 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793, or 0886 050507. 0886 050507, or 0776 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. So the point is that Moses is making, you can't compare the American economy to that of our economy.
Sure.
And there is no way in the world we try to even compare that.
We're not trying to.
We're not trying to. But his assertions that President Trump doesn't travel, that's not true. So I'm just saying, look, for every leader in the world to be able to make the case for that country, they will have to go out there. President Trump was just in somewhere around the Asian belt there, all right, meeting with the Chinese president and other people, all right. So leaders have to travel to be able to interact. The dividends are not going to come right away. The dividends will come afterwards. So I'm just saying, he complaining that, whenever President Barker travel, it costs $200,000. That's not true. So I'm just saying to him, the most protected president in the world, when he travels, it costs the American taxpayer almost $100 million because he travels with everything. He travels even with a whole hospital, with a whole military.
Yeah, Mr. Family, let me clarify something here. The $200,000 that I spoke about, I was being hypothetical. And let's do the math here. We're talking about the president traveling on charter flights. Not commercial, charter flights. The president of the Republic of Liberia. Do you know how much it costs?
Moses, let me hold you and take this caller quickly. Good evening. Let's hear from you.
Yes, hello, Tawa.
Yes, sir.
It's great to hear from you and your partner in the good evening.
Okay.
I'm calling from Cardwell, opposite Tonga Junction.
Okay. Okay.
I think Mr. Sunny there doesn't know why it takes or why he fights for diplomacy. The panelists there, both of the panelists, I think what they are trying to say is the same way President of Liberia would use a particular amount to go foreign travel, it is the same aspect that Donald Trump, the more powerful president, would do such. And if Donald Trump goes out, does he put money in a bag and carry it back to America? It's just about bilateral ties, encouraging things for the both nations. So thank you. I just thought to wait.
Many thanks. We really appreciate you. Many thanks. 0778 460 793, or better still 0886 050507. Yes, you are in speech.
Yes, so as I was speaking, what I was saying is that during March summer, take for example the president coming to New York. Let's assume that presidential suite for the president hypothetically put $1,000 a day. If you have 10 persons in presidential suit in New York for $1,000 a day, it means that you are spending what? $10,000 a day, and you keep the president and his people there for a week.
Okay, Moses, hold on. Let's take this caller. Let's hear from you, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Good evening, Saba.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, and good evening to all of the panelists on the panel tonight. This is for you.
Okay.
William Covey, and I joined this conversation from District 3. Well, that's why I appreciate all of you for the various talking points on critical national issues. Well, my first talking point is to appreciate the government. This is the first time in our country history that our country national budget or proposed budget has reached $1 billion. So I think Mr. Kumi once said that this was one of the targets to take the country budget to $1 billion. And since the Unity Party has done it, I think there is a time for him to get on board to work with the government because his dream has already been achieved at this government. And I also appreciate the asset recovery team because in recent times some of us were feeling disenchanted about them. We were getting angry. What are they doing or what were they doing? We thought they were sleeping, but not knowing the guys were doing their work behind the scenes and they were not talking plenty. They wanted to see the result, to bring the result to us today. If we can see people being disgusted and some of them escaping things that they can run away, you have to come back to vindicate yourself. Come back and face justice. You have to come back and defend your stewardship over the last 6 years. So, for so long, our country has been suffering from corruption. So when people trying to do it, we do not want people to come and be saying which one. Recent time, it was on Facebook, after doing other people are posting that the government were lying on people of corruption. Now the government has started taking steps again and say that which one. And we will remind them of their Facebook posts that they were making. We are here posting your post that the day you said which one would be 2 3 days. Weeks ago, post that you made at the government, now prosecuting the lie, bring it right on your post so you can read for yourself and understand the situation you're facing today. Let me appreciate the government for that. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, many thanks. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Yes, Moses? Moses, were in speech.
So,
okay,
his calculation, if it falls below 80,000, 10,000 times 7, the last time I checked at 70,000, leads to say his 200,000 he mentioned. Even if you put the flights only there, everything where your airplane here is so pay money for this and a private jet. A good amount of travel, the president traveled and with private jets. So the private jet for the president is
and Mr. George, let me say this quickly. And let's be humor here, right? Before the president travels, members of his delegation are given daily subsistence allowance to give them money to take care of themselves.
Okay, Moses, let's hold you there. Moses, let's hold you there. Let's get another caller quickly. Good evening, caller. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, this is Mark joining from Benson Street.
Okay, let's hear from you.
So we want to appreciate the art for the job well done, and we want to go out and do more. If this country is to go forward, we must go after all those that are bent on being thieves and looters. We cannot continue like the president said. It's not usual. We should not be unbending and unwavering. We should go after them no matter where they go and bring them back so that they can face justice.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Moses, go ahead.
Yeah, look, so what I was saying, let's be humor here. When the president travels, all the people who accompany him get what? Daily subsistence allowance, DSA. Let's assume that every year.
Let me interrupt you again, another caller. Good evening, quickly. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
For some of us, we don't celebrate the asset recovery. The only time someone will celebrate Mr. George, that somebody in the kingdom will see if giving food to the different people who see the people, they just if they go to goods and then we not give the minute that people money back to them. But some of all will be still a premium for that to be honest with you. So all they have a government to win it. I would see that they might see any kids that because we cannot go on. So for me, I really we need somebody get it possible to win people resources are also allegedly coming back to them.
Okay, many thanks. Let's take another call. Let's announce the numbers again: 0778 460 793. Yes, Moses, go right ahead.
So as I was saying, let's assume that the president comes with 20 presidents. And on an average, everybody is getting hypothetical or $2,000. On the average.
Let me Sunday
they probably don't want to
goes by class and grade.
Let's hear quickly. Let's hear from this caller. Hello? Yes, sir. Let's hear from you. Hello?
TSA is on.
Yes, go ahead quickly.
They stop the president. You don't travel and coming back. There's no justification on that because some travel the president has made and we see him not there. So I think those who are justified, they are just just define themselves. That's what they got. They not deal with this issue. They will really appreciate it. Thank you. That's fine.
Okay, many thanks. Many thanks. Yeah, Moses, go ahead quickly now and make your point.
Those are really enjoying to know.
Moses, go ahead quickly and make a point. No, but you was his speech.
You ain't agreed to that for a minute, TJ.
So what I was saying, right? I was just saying that let's assume that the president came to the United States with 20 presidents, and now for the DSA for each of those people at $2,000. Do the math. 20 times 2,000. $40,000 right there. $40,000 right there. Calculate flight, the charter flight. The charter flight is not going to be $100,000. It's going to be more than that. The food, the drink, the lunch.
Hold it down once again. Let me take this call. Hello, caller.
That's Sunday all the time. Let me explain this to you.
Yeah. 0778
MTN.
Oh, 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. 0886 050507. Yes, go ahead. Moses, you need to.
I've already made my case, and Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, and my brother family, they themselves know what I'm talking about. It's the truth. When the president travels, it's very costly.
Okay, let's go there again and take this call. Most of that going there. Let's hear from you, caller, quickly.
Good evening, Sabah.
Yes, sir.
Let me say good evening to your colleague. I'm TSC Emmanuel Super Junior of the Intellectual Class, District number 14. I'm taking interest in the conversation tonight. And my concern, Sabah, is we support the president, generic government to fight corruption, holy institutions without cherry picking. But then we want the president, if this president is fighting corruption, let the president come out and tell who is building the 10 million villa and presidential villa in Lufasante. The government hasn't spoken to that. No one has ever spoken to it. Everyone is saying that it comes from the sky and it is impossible. So I would agree that if you say you are pushing equity like the lawyer always says, you could come with clean hands. The president here is not clean. Another thing, Sabah, I listened to the president from Mr. Robert at the RIA. Journalist asked him whether he was invited. And then he was blunt to say no, he was not officially invited, but he appreciated the manner in which he was invited. A whole lot of people with him and used to liberate people money. Now we are asking the president, those advocating for him, what has the president brought back after using the taxpayer money over there? The I'ma plan and tell who's been in presidential villa and you tell when you return with after traveling for so many days and coming back to the country and using our money.
Okay. Okay, many thanks. Yeah, Moses kindly exhaust. Okay, I think you exhausted your time already, right? Moses? So we can come to Edward Kennedy quickly. Ed.
I've already exhausted my time, and the young man just summed up everything that I was saying. The truth of the matter is that travel by the presidency is very costly. It's not cheap. And we need to agree on that. It's very costly.
Okay. Yeah, George Kennedy.
Thank you. Nobody said travel by the presidency is cheap. I love the statement made by the last caller. You see, frankly, there's a need for us to know about the 10 million whatever project. We know the cost, but we don't know who's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Fine. So there's a need to come up. The president decided probably he doesn't want to talk about it when it's completed. We want to see it. But to say that because the president went to France, we were here yesterday, the former president went there, he came back with 10 million euros. They put it into rice. The people who ate some of that rice, I think they know. But this one, I think they got 3 or 4 French companies, oil setter, Total Energies, oil blocks, millions of dollars to Liberia. Probably that some of these concessions they went to talk about behind the scenes, because these countries got serious interest in their overseas companies. So some of these things before the legislature and stuff, so maybe some of these people don't know. He didn't go there to go pay for money, go to maybe carry them, go buy rice from our people, and the rice went to West Point and to a community. Nobody saw it. That's not that kind of government here. You understand? But you're right when you say, speak to us about the building in Foya. They said, you're right. And that's how we are here on the show.
And Brother George, Total is, apart from Total, even the French government had a lot of direct interest in most of these companies. Even the electricity company in Ivory Coast, the French government owns about 60%. And we actually taking power from them as well. Let's be candid here. Presidents will have to travel. And Brother Sandy said, the president fly in private jet. Last night, the president came over at Morocco. Yeah. So, the president only used private jet because it's difficult to travel within our own sub-region in Africa. So most often, like when the president went to Togo, do you know who plane he used? Frya Sengbe. He sent the plane. These are, not because the point coming to say to you, whenever you see the president flying to ECOWAS, they used to do the same thing for President Salif. Many times the Nigerian president sent flight there to pick her up. Even Ghana, Nana Addo. So these things happen. They are bilateral things.
All right, let me get your parting comment. We got to go. Moses, let me hear from you first. Your parting comment, just a minute. A minute, please.
I want to say it was a great show. It was indeed a great show. And one thing I can say, my colleagues and I can agree on is that it is difficult to win people when they come in with a closed mind. There's nothing you can do about it. So we just leave it as
Thank you. That's a great job. The most has been critical for down the line. I know that well.
I know editor is a Malaysia ELBC.
Oh no! If I don't want to mess up as editor at all. No, editing our stories, I will bring it.
Yes.
When the story is not a hard story.
Yeah,
that story can constitute a bulletin.
Yes, so my closing, a very big congratulations to our economic management team for pushing our budget up to $1.2 billion. We wait to see the dividends as is, translate into real-time development, and then see the liquidity of the economy going forward. But I also want to stress on this thing about the assets management team. I think the president needs to focus more on the Office of the Economic and War Crimes Code establishment so that we can have this fast track corruption court set up to be able to deal with these cases as it comes. You listen to one of the caller that said that in his lifetime he has not seen anybody going to court to win these, for government to win these cases. I think this is the time that we need to set another pace, and this could be a legacy of the president. Even if we're going to delay the war crime aspect, but I think we need to fast track the establishment of the economic crime code, because these are things that will keep coming out as we progress. Now we have $1.2 billion budget. We could just have more people involving now into corruption and other things. And then if we grab these people, we need to be able to have them to face in due process as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Yes. I think in order for us to succeed, we need to reform our judicial system. And this court we're talking about a lot of specialized courses. Courts on our judicial system to ensure that it functions properly. Another thing is to have even projected 1.13 billion into main state revenue is a huge achievement by us. I know that that this is a milestone where I know directly where we're heading. The next budget will be hitting to 1.5 or 1.4 to 1.5 billion. This is good. This is a milestone that we all must celebrate. I said the downside to it a little bit is have we increased taxes on the ordinary people in order for us to generate this fund? The other night we're here, I was telling the LEC people, when are you reducing tariff? I know that there's a process, and there's a request in the process with LERC to ensure that to reduce tariff. These services, as I call it, goods and services tax and other things. Even when it comes to how to call it, personal income tax, is it high? Are we making any plan to reduce it small? Because you will make the high money in gross. When the taxes are applied, you see that we need to gross high. So some of those things, as we go further, as our budget increase, we want to eyes of some of these laws be reformed so that people will carry more money home to be able to develop. Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, let me thank you guys. You guys did extremely well for the week. That's the essence of the nighttime heat. We bring all sides on board. We're still making effort with others who feel that this program is basically designed for just a particular this particular group of people. Not exactly that. This program is designed to bring all sides on board. Those from the CDC. Just recently, we had a few days ago, we had the CDC chair. We've still been making effort to get the Unity Party chair, and of course, we'll also be making effort to get ANC as well. So this program is basically designed to bring all of you on board so that we can talk about Mama Liberia. Before we go, let me try to recognize some of our viewers. Maxwell Kendi Na, he said, been watching from Bartelsville Estate. Patrick Kennedy, didn't say from where. Ramos Sind Mambo from GS Row, he been watching. Venetia's Ginger Bai, didn't say from where. Ophelia S. George, she said she's been watching from home. Gloria Boys passed away, been watching from the US. Shadrach Grammy from Yekipa, Lima County. Boys Dripper, didn't say from where. Ben Jasso, didn't say from where. David Topo from New Crew Town, he said. Henry Tito Jr., been watching from Corwell. Magnus Cassell, he said development support is different from budget support. I think that was the comment he made. George P. Cohn, they said from where? He said from ELW. And Alberto Cabie, they said from where? Well, we can call all of our viewers' names. Until Monday, when we come back with another fascinating edition of the Nighttime Heat. Join us. We are making tremendous effort. We're trying to go weekly, daily, maybe beginning January. We're trying to source the resources so that we can go daily. We can come here on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. We're still trying to get the resources. If you're out there, you can help. We really appreciate it because Liberia belongs to all of us. It's not one person's country. It's all of us. We all have to make sure that our people are informed, educated, and entertained as well. Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant and restful night.